Welcome to the World of Greyhawk, also known as the Flanness. Hi, and welcome to this episode of Greyhawk Talk. Today, I'm going to be talking about the human racial groups that you can find in the Flanness, or Greyhawk, as it's more commonly known by the general populace. So the people we're going to be looking at today are the Backlunish, the Flan, the Oeridians, Olmans, the Rhenee, and the Seul, or Sudanese if you prefer. All of these can be used as player characters. There's no limit to that. And of course, any traits I discuss today, it's down to yourself. It's your character. You can do with it as you wish. This is just to give you a bit of information about the various racial groups that you will find within the lands of Greyhawk. So to start, we've got the Backlunish. These peoples originated in the western lands of Greyhawk, or the Flanness. They tend to have golden skin tones with quite dark, fine textured hair. Eyes, usually sort of greenish, hazel, maybe grey eyes a little bit rarer. They tend to have long limbs and quite high cheekbones, so very recognizable. They tend to value honor, family ties, generosity, piety. These are all common traits of them. And they also have a love of singing and dancing. Clothing wise, you tend to find they go with pastel colours, a various mix, not just a single pastel colour, but a mix of pastel colours. And these are quite a favourite. And a lot of the Backlunish are quite skilled wizards as well. They're quite common within the Greyhawk setting, and certainly a good choice for a player character. Next up, there's the Flan. Now, the Flan obviously gave the name to the Flanness, so they're quite a widespread human racial group as well. They originated in the north, and they pushed down quite early on in their existence. They've got bronze skins, lighter copper to sort of darker brown colours. Eyes are also darker and tend to be sort of black or brown, more rarely amber, but those people with amber eyes tend to be looked upon quite favourably. Hair tends to be wavy or curly, again, brown or black hues. Strong faces and sturdy builds, that's a key feature. And strong ties to nature as well. So you quite often find rangers, druids, etc. coming from this stock. They tend to favour bright coloured clothes as well, and that's another one of what they actually do. So quite strange actually with the druids and the actual rangers seeing such vivid colours, but certainly it's something that they do prefer. Oeridians. Okay, well, this culture developed in the shadow of the barrier peaks. Now, I'll be covering certain geographical areas in other episodes, so I'll certainly be telling you about the barrier peaks. They play quite a big part of the story of this particular setting. Now, the Oeridians, they tend to sort of be tan to olive in complexions and auburn brown hair. Black golden tresses aren't unheard of either. So it's a variety of different sort of colours. Square, strong features, and their ancestors tended to be quite fierce warriors, and military traditions are very strong within them. Clothes colours tend to be sort of patterns, and it showed clan allegiances basically. These colours now. What's gone on since they've tend to sort of dropped these colours, and they've actually sort of moved on more towards traditional colours that other areas and tribes actually go. They like fashion and do fit in, but you still do find some of the racial group wearing associated clan colours too. The Olman culture originated in the jungles of Hetmanland and basically ended up developing quite advanced city-states back in the day. Skins are usually reddish brown, dark eyes, black hair, and tend to be sort of straight as well hair. Facially, high cheekbones and quite high bridge noses as well. So they're quite common. In the past, the flattening of foreheads was the thing in the culture as well, and you still find some of the nobles will actually carry out this procedure on the children. It's considered to be quite an attractive feature. Um, Now they're mostly found still in the jungles, basically the Media and the Hetmanland jungles, but they have spread out as well further afield. Tend to sort of be concentrated though more in these regions. Religion actually promoted the original religion promoted sacrifice, and you still find some of the jungle region tribes do practice this still. So something to bear in mind if you decide you wish to go with one of the Olmans. Um, they are quite a noble race, though. The Rhenee culture is quite an unusual culture. They're not native to the lands of Greyhawk. They appeared about 500 years before current times, and they appeared being chased by various monsters in what is the Great Kingdom, in one of the forests there. They Where they came from, no one actually sort of truly knows. There's lots of rumours actually about that and how they actually managed to sort of get through to the lands of the Flanness, but they certainly were not from the planet originally. Since then, they've dispersed right across the lands. They've gained quite notoriety of being waterborne culture. So rivers, canals, inland lakes, seas, all that they're well known for sort of being able to navigate and trade along those routes. The barges and vessels that they actually use are quite distinctive as well, and it's again quite an interesting race to actually play. They are considered to be quite untrustworthy due to their transient nature. They tend to be sort of quite nomadic, and because of that, and of course the thoughts behind of where they've actually come from, they do get quite a bit of reputation. Um, Skin color is oliver tan with dark curly hair and eyes predominantly grey, blue, or hazel. Rarely you get green, and again, green eyes are looked upon as being quite favourable again in the culture. They tend to be quite small and wiry, so well suited to boat life. But again, the distrust is actually there by many of the other cultures across the lands. Right, onto the Siluese or the Seul. They originated from what is now known as the Sea of Dust. It was quite a mighty empire back many centuries ago, but it was beset by quite a series of interesting wars, battles, and disasters. So the empire has gone. I will be discussing the Seoul Empire in a future episode, so I'm going to keep that quite simple for now. Um, they're fairer skin with pale or well, pale blue or violet eyes usually. Hair colours are actually yellow, blonde, light red, through to platinum blonde, and it's often quite wiry as well and curly with kinks in. They tend to sort of be quite lean in stature and have quite narrow facial features. The empire was known for being quite a cruel one, and this does actually surface and has surfaced in the current dealings with others. They're seen as being quite opinionated, selfish, and prideful. Okay, they're the main cultures there that I've covered for you. I'll be going into them in more depth in future episodes and touching on other angles actually of them. As I said, all of them will make pretty good races for player characters. I'll be covering in the next episode the demi-humans, the elves, dwarves, etc., that you can find in Greyhawk. And from that onwards, we'll be looking at some of the adventure points as well. I'll also be having a look at the various publications you can actually sort of get if you're interested in Greyhawk, and I'll be covering what's available on drive-through role-playing as well, which is probably the cheapest and easiest way to actually sort of get hold of Greyhawk products at this moment in time. And there's a whole wealth of material and information actually in those books, and I'll rate them for you. Well, thank you for listening. Hopefully, you found that relatively interesting, and I'll be back for another episode in the very near future. I'm hoping to be able to do 2 or 3 a week going forward, but we'll just see how everything pans out. Thanks for your time. See you soon.